you'll find them at some end of the campus like, why is that character not wearing any clothes? Oh dear. This was something that we started talking about it as we were still developing TwoPoint Hospital. We kind of had lots of ideas about what could our next game be. And as soon as we started talking about the education setting, we just immediately latched on to quite a few aspects of the world of education that really appealed to us for the next game, partly because the stuff we were doing with the characters in TwoPoint Hospital, we thought, this will actually give us a really good opportunity to dive into characters in a bit more detail, because obviously in hospital, you have a patient comes in, gets diagnosed, gets treated, and then they're off doing other stuff. Whereas with the life of a student going through 3 years at university, there's so much more opportunity to spend more time with them, flesh out their characters. Actually, the player gets to shape them a bit more, right? They're all individual, so you can feed into both their academic life and their social life. Just so much more that you can do from that side.
I think we all had a lot of fun talking about our own experiences in education as well. Obviously, it's a very relatable subject. We kind of did lots of kind of chatting and thinking around that in the office. And we also, obviously, the pop culture side of education, like TV series and films, are all kind of funny. It's kind of like a funny genre in general. So we had lots of ideas for it.
Well, we did have a whiteboard with all sorts of different ideas on it, but alas, I can't dive into that at this point. But like I say, the education setting, it felt like there was a lot we could do with it. And one of the other things that we were quite keen to do, that we were quite keen to give the player a bit more creative freedom, allow them a bit more freedom as to how they lay things out and being able to edit the buildings and make your own buildings, that kind of thing, and actually decorate the outdoors space. And so a campus setting perfectly fitted with that desire to give people a bit more creative freedom. And even just the structure of the game being based around these academic courses, it meant that the player can actually decide what combinations of courses they want to run, and then that will feed into what types of students show up, and you just get all of this interesting emergent stuff based on the decisions that you make and the way you lay out your campus.
I think we learnt a lot from TwoPoint Hospital, and there's a lot of content we added post-release after we knew what people liked. So going into campus, we sort of started from the ground up really, and we wanted to include all of those features and systems from the start. And of course it's shipping console and PC at the same time. So we had to build the UI to be usable with controller from the off. And we as Ben mentioned, we spent a lot of time on the building controls, and we've also got some quite deep systems with the characters and how they interact with each other.
We did build it from the ground up actually, because we knew that we wanted to aim for a multi-platform release. We figured, right, let's build everything up from scratch and actually build things in a way that are really going to work for what we're trying to push in campus. Being able to build these big impressive campuses, decorate all of the campus, all of the outdoor space, flesh out the characters in a bit more detail. One of the benefits of building the game from scratch is that we built our behaviour system from scratch and the way that we model the characters. And we were quite keen to have these interesting group behaviours, which we didn't really have to do in hospital, because generally it was one patient, one doctor or nurse, and that was it. There's so much more opportunity to have these interesting group behaviours and interactions between characters, because obviously you've got classes and that's going to require teachers and a group of students to coordinate with each other. But then also on the social life side, the whole thing's based around groups of characters, partying together or doing club activities together and that kind of thing.
Romance.
Romance.
Don't know if you've seen the romance yet. Yeah, it was actually in the pandemic that we sort of went into production for campus, so we were pretty much working at home and unable to go out. I think it was a lot of us kind of talking about our own experiences and there's obviously lots of kind of personal things to draw upon in this setting, and of course the pop culture as well, because that kind of always feeds into our...
Yeah, that's it. There's so many films and TV series about high school, college, university, that there's a lot to lean into there and put our own TwoPoint twist on it. There's influences from all over the place.
Some of them are quite subtle as well. Like even playing now, I've played a lot. I still see new things that I didn't know were in the game.
The longer you spend with the game, the more you'll hear on the radio or hear from the tannoy system.
Students are reminded to be in 2 places at once.
Or read, there's so much text in the game and there's a lot in there.
It was hard. We did adapt though, and we kind of found something that really worked for us. We were obviously all working remotely. We had new systems set up so that we could communicate with each other. And we ended up, doing a lot of communication over video calls and, daily meetings and whatnot. And it was a challenge because we're quite a collaborative team. We're very creative, and it's really nice in the office just shouting across to each other and things like that. But we're back in the office now, which it's brilliant, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah, I think that the team did an amazing job of adapting, given the circumstances. Because really, we went into full production around the time that all the lockdowns started. So really not great timing, but yeah, the team did an amazing job of adapting, and it has been great the last few months being able to get back into the office and have those little ad hoc gatherings around people's desks that we love. People change outfits in the game for various reasons, and occasionally people will get stuck in certain states. That's my favourite bug. We have one of the clubs in the game. I always bang on about this one. There's a club that's the Nature Club, and part of that club is all about gardening and looking after the campus grounds and things like that. But people that join the Nature Club also don't find clothes particularly appealing. I think that's probably a fair way of describing it. But they're meant to do that in very specific situations, and every so often someone will get stuck in that state, and then you'll find them at some end of the campus like, why is that character not wearing any clothes? Oh dear. But don't worry, we're going to fix all of these bugs. It's going to be very tasteful in the end.
Currently, I'm quite into the gastronomy course, which hopefully you'll see today, because I just like food. It's the gastronomy students feed other students, which is great. It's very helpful, very friendly. And I just love the weirdness of it all. Like, they're just building these absolutely massive profiterole towers, and it just makes me laugh.
For me, I think it would probably have to be night school. There's just something about these students dressed in full armour, stomping around the campus grounds and, coming straight out of a jousting class and rushing down to the student union to have a bit of a party or a boogie on the dance floor. I love the absurdity of that, and seeing the knights mingling with some goths and, some of the other students. I just love everything about that. And the best bit about the knights is again, they always keep the helmet on. Whatever they do, if they go for a shower, they always keep the helmet on.
We've got a hot tub as well in the game, and they'll keep it on with the hot tub as well. I don't want to, yeah.
You're going to be able to play it on August the 9th, so very soon.
And on Steam, Xbox and PlayStation and Switch.